So today I'm at St Andrew's Church in Boreham in Essex, and I'd like to talk to you about the area of Boreham and the church itself. Boreham is located between London and Colchester. It's about 4 miles from the city of Chelmsford. It lays not far from the ancient marching route used by Emperor Claudius and his 9th Legion Roman soldiers. The name Borum derives from the Saxon village on a hill. Today its population is 4,000. Archaeologists have discovered items ranging from the Bronze to the Iron Age periods. And we also know that the Celtic tribe, the Trinovantes, were in Essex centuries before the Romans. And in AD 10, the Belgic tribe had made their capital in Colchester. In AD 43, a massive Roman army comprising of 20,000 soldiers, even elephants, marched not far from here, from the Thames to Molsham Street in Chelmsford and on to Colchester. Now Boreham, interestingly, it's got a natural spring, and it's just literally metres from the church here. We know the Romans settled here in some capacity because of the building materials that have been used in this church. Now, moving on to the Saxon period, we know that there were 7 manors in Boreham, and these were Old Hall, New Hall, Brent Hall, Porters, Culverts and Walkfairs. Now we also know that Earl Harold Godwinson, he owned land here, and in 1062 he gave the manor that he owned to the monks of Waltham Abbey. In the Domesday Book of 1086, I read that Boreham was owned by 3 different people 20 years after the conquest. The main character was Count Eustace of Boulogne, France, and William Warren and Robert Swan of Essex, who was a mighty powerful character who was Sheriff of Essex. The Boreham in the Domesday Book was in the largest 40% of settlements recorded. And I read at that time, in 1086, that there were 15 freemen, there were 10 smallholders, 4 slaves, 2 plough teams, 30 pigs, 15 cattle, 132 sheep. And most interesting for me, the records describe that the church... Oh no, not ghost hunting. No, historic. History. I'll let you go on with it. Yeah.
There's one over here,
Yeah.
under a load of brambles.
All right.
And we moved the brambles, so the headstone's as good as when it went down over 100 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I thought you was doing something constructive here. Yeah. Oh wow. It's lovely condition, isn't it?
Because there was brambles all over here, and we cleared it because we had to dig that
Yeah.
one. So we cleared it, and look, that's brilliant, isn't
It's
it?
amazing, isn't it?
That
The amount
is.
of work gone into that.
You know, bearing in mind, you know, how old it is.
Yeah. Oh, you done well there.
Because it was covered up.
Did you just give it a scrub down, did you?
No, we just took the brambles away.
Wow.
That was all.
That's
Yeah, it
it should be sort of this
was
colour, shouldn't it?
completely covered with
Yeah,
brambles.
it's almost protected it.
Yeah, really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, you've done well there. Well, thanks for that. I'm sure somebody in the future will. Yeah, that's the trouble, isn't it?
They
Quite
go like that,
sandstone,
but
aren't
for
they?
something that old,
Yeah,
that hasn't been exposed to the elements,
yeah,
I suppose the brambles grew up and they forgot about
yeah,
it. But yeah, it's
yeah.
brilliant.
Oh, well done. Yeah, nice one. So there's a lot of kind folk out there. So just shows, doesn't it, how the brambles can protect it. So most interesting for me was the record that there was angelic sorry, there was a priest called Engelric. He was a Saxon priest, and he preceded Count Eustace. So on to the church itself. It's in a central location, surrounded by a mixture of modern houses and 15th to 17th century cottages. And you've got a pub just over where these guys are working, called the Queen's Head. It's always good. Always got to have a pub where there's a church. Now, Nicholas Pevsner, who was a historian and used to document these churches, he said that the church is indeed full of interest and mystery, yet encapsulated in this fine Grade 1 listed building are the best known periods of English history. Please stay a while in the church to wonder, ponder and pray. So we start off with the chancel. We'll just turn the page over. Yeah, so we're now in the chancel. It's 14th century, it's been rebuilt. Hello. It's been extended, and it's 38 feet by 16 and a half, so it's a fair size. And all the materials here, apart from the windows, have come from fields. The tower, which is unusual because it's centrally located, is 17 foot square. It's built in 3 stages, you can see at the top there. It's got an embattlement parapet. The base was Saxon and estimated to be built between 10th and 11th centuries, possibly older in the time of Guthrum the Viking in the 9th century. It's possible. And there may have been a wooden structure here before. If we look at the coins and the corners, got Roman brick. So you can see close proximity to Chelmsford and Colchester. Roman brick would not be a problem for these builders when they left. And again on that corner there. Now that corner there is very interesting. It's the left, it are the last remains of the original Saxon south nave wall. Just think about that. That was laid by the Germanic tribes in one of the unknown centuries, probably along with that window up there. The upper section of the tower was added around 12th century. There's a bell tower door which is in the corner there, and that's used for bell ringers even today. Now the Victorian benefactors, they paid for this lovely old clock. This lovely old clock is Victorian, Gilbert and Johnston. It's 1886. The clock company made 14,000 tower clocks, and yeah, they began making clocks in 1844, so that would be 12 years before this, 22 years before this clock. You can find examples in Manchester Town Hall and Selfridges in London. Some of the other features, we've got one of the family vaults, prominent family, the Seabrook, and it says here, in the vault below are the deposited the remains of, and there's a lot of family members there. So they basically put the bodies under there and buried it all in. If you look up here, we have a Victorian period sundial with a gloomy inscription. Our days on earth are as the shadows. Not very happy, but it's true. And again, if you look at the structure, so we're moving on to the nave now, a different style of flint. Now the nave was originally built between 11th and 12th centuries, and then it was reduced in size in 1230, and then it's had north and south aisles added. and we have it was widened, and then we had a 15th century window added, which I'm going to show you, which is 5 light perpendicular stone structure, and it's got Victorian glass. And just through here is the old rectory, but it's private property, so I'm not going to show that. If you look at that chimney, it does make me, I do amazed at the crookedness of some of these structures. You see that? Yeah. If we go down here, this is called an ambulatory. It's a covered walkway built in oak from timber from the Forest of Dean. We walked through originally. It's built in 1924. It was to remember Henry Hutton as a vicar who lived at Boreham Manor. The 6 bells in the tower. They were installed in 1746 and another 2 in 1913, and they are around 1653. Interestingly, there's a pub called the 6 Bells Pub in Borum, named after St Andrews. The pub was originally 2 cottages built 4 years after the bells were installed. This porch this is 15th century, and you've got the original timbers there. It's all been boxed in all the sides. This church is generally open, so it's worth a visit. If we go inside, right, this is a 14th century font, and it has graffiti on it from that period, or from times after. If you see there, you see the crosses. Now, a lot of these pilgrims may have been quite ill, and they would have scratched crosses and various things into stonework in the belief that it would give them a cure or a blessing. This is a stoop. So as the pilgrims would come in here, or the churchgoers, congregation, they would put water from here on themselves. You've got a sort of Victorian, I guess, memorial. Great detail. And you can see the stonework here, exposing Roman brick. It could be that this dates from Saxon or a very early Norman period. This is Lady Chapel, which is over here. It was part of that extension. There's 2 niches in the wall, which were for the priests to wash the vessels for Holy Communion and storing vessels. On the sides here, you've got various memorials. And what I find interesting, if you look at the floors, you've got the general prominent families that are buried in the aisle. But in this church, we've got lots of headstones which are incorporated into the floors. And there, for example, Charlotte Burgess, 1871. And it carries on and on. And I think a lot of these headstones, or these flagstones, could well be headstones that are turned around. But some are just left exposed. 1733, and so on. Quite interesting. It's unusual for me. Up there we have a royal coat of arms. I'm not sure what period. And we've also got, we've got another coat of arms there. And we've also got massive oak beams to act as buttresses. So if we go over here, we can see, actually if we stand back, we can see the Saxon outline of the arch. You can see that it had been a lot narrower. And if you look on the left side, you can also see a doorway there. So that would have joined up with the arch above. Very tall. And you can see, if you look at the different sections, you can see they've utilised Roman brick and the keystones. And down here you've got a nice stone, don't know the reason for it, and again another alcove. Now we're going to go and enter into the tower itself, the central tower, which is unusual. There's lots of little details, like for example a little thing hanging out there. Not sure if that's for a candle or for water. Victorian period tiles, which are always very ornate. If we go, you can see how thick the walls are. And above me, you might not be able to pick it up, but the clock is ticking. Look at that window. So this is the oldest part. There's a beautiful brass here, and it says, "Here lieth the body of Ale Byng, the wife of Thomas Byng of Canterbury, 16th of April, 1573. And you can see the date there. And if you look there, you can just about see that. You can see a procession of people. And a gentleman. Is that the coffin? I don't know. It's amazing. This was originally in the floor. Some sort of alcove there. I'm not sure if this was for so that the people on the outside could receive communion. I did read somewhere about that. This is a 15th century. What are we looking at? Oak screen, yeah. So if we go this side, you might be able to see it. Beautiful. 15th century. We've also got on the walls medieval paintings. In those times, it would have been normal to cover all the walls in this way. They were covered over in the English Reformation. And you can see, if you look at the Roman brickwork, or the Roman tiles or bricks, incredible. It's been left exposed, which is nice. There's a further, it looks like to me like a wooden oak panel of some sort, with the writing. And if you look down here, you can see where all the different periods of stonework meet. Tiles from Victorians. There's parquet oak boards. Now we're into the chancel, and you can see, if you look up there, you can see how they've painted it to make it look like stonework. And you can see just how much colour there would have been. Now this could also be, what I was reading was the area to receive communion. So originally that may have been opened up. It's quite thick. I thought it was defensive, but I don't think it is. This is the east window, and it was blown out in World War II by the Luftwaffe. On either side we have the Lord's 10 Commandments. Try not to step on these cushions. There's another one there. We've got a lovely, beautiful hand carved oak, I'm guessing. Is it a pulpit? I don't know. But it is just beautiful. Look at the detail of that. It just doesn't get any better than that. And a very big Bible. So I'll leave the high altar area. Now, we're going to enter the Sussex Chapel. Now, the Sussex Chapel was erected by Thomas Radcliffe, Earl of Sussex, who owned Newhall in 1583. Elizabeth gave Thomas Newhall in 1583. There are 3 earls here. And I've made a video on the history of the 3 earls. Basically, they're incredible characters. They served in a period. They served. So they're all related. You've got Robert. Let me have a look. So the 3 effigies can be seen are Robert Radcliffe, 1st Earl of Sussex, his son Henry, and his grandson Robert. And between them, they served all the kings and queens of the period. So you're looking at Henry VII, his son Henry VIII, Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth. It's quite incredible. The damage that you see here is resulted from Oliver Cromwell. He basically purchased Newhall, which was one of the old Saxon halls, and his troops, well, he purchased it for 5 shillings, and his troops basically come through here and smashed this lot up. So these dogs have had their heads lobbed off. You can see the detail where they're wearing crowns. You can clearly see it's been lobbed off. And if you just look at the detail, it's incredible. It just doesn't get any better than this. Wearing the ruffs from the period, the armour, the sword scabbard has been broken off. And some of this marble actually came from Egypt. It's worth looking at. This flag, which is the Stars and Stripes, it's got 48 stars on it. It was donated by an American gentleman, which is on here. And what's happened? What it basically is you've got Borum airfield not far from here, and in World War II it was used by various American bomber groups. 394th Bombardment Group. They bombed bridges in France, and they were nicknamed the Bridge Busters. And the 315th Troop Carrier Group, they dropped airborne troops in 1945. I think they dropped a lot of English troops, or British troops, using 80 planes during Operation Varsity over the River Rhine. And I noticed here we have, I can't really see, but it's the Royal Artillery flag and various other flags for our side. So I shall leave the Sussex Chapel. Oh, there's another, it's everywhere you look, you miss a lot of stuff. But here, for example, Reverend Cray, Aaron Harrell, Church Warden, 1797. I'm guessing, yeah, it's stone. It looks like bronze, but it's stone. And we have a beautiful window there. And then we will be going back through the Norman and Saxon arches. various charities have been, I found out that various charity members and institutions have given money to the local people. In 1652, William Ward, he left money so that clothes could be brought for 4 poor widows, and that the church wardens can also distribute bread to the poor. And another one I found was 1830, charity trustees at Borum paid out money to schoolmasters so that 50 poor children would be provided shoes and stockings yearly, and clothes and hats and bonnets every other year. So you can see they really had to make it last. By 1848, most of the land in Boreham belonged to Sir John Tyrrell, one of the powerful families that had land in Essex. And with what I was saying about the South Chapel, South Sussex, the Sussex Chapel, you can see that there may well have been the kings and queens of that time that would have come to this very church and walking where I'm walking now. It's an amazing feeling that you are walking in the footsteps of many famous person. There's lots of detail here, like this is a book to remember soldiers, airmen, sailors, I guess, that were in the war. This one is John Ernest Mauser, told St Darcy. So just up the coast, not too far. And there's another bit of detail I liked. When you come in, there's a donation box. On the left it says stewardship envelopes and church expenses, and on the right side, restoration fund. And there's 2 little sections there. So we'll leave now. I say do come and have a visit. This church is open generally. We'll walk around, have a quick look, and then I'll finish up. The church is Church of England, and they have the Sunday service, and they also have children club here, and they hold baptisms and marriages and blessings. And on their website it says the heading Networking for Jesus in the 21st Century, which I quite like, and it had a really good page. And there you can see the outside. And these churches mean a lot to people. Hello. If you look at these churches, you can see where panels are replaced in the windows. I mean, that's not one of them, but it's sort of interesting how they fit that. It's great skill. But you can see here, you can see the ancient putt locks there. So there's a putt lock, so where they put the boards. And there's another one up there where the poles would come out. And this window, for example, you can see where repairs have been made in this section here. It's clever how they can reinstall a single section. And I read that this is, on this side, some of the most original stonework of the central tower, and you can see where again Roman tiles been used. That was the wall, one of the walls of the nave, I guess. And you can see this would be Saxon at the base, where they've used whatever they can get hold of. Again, Roman bricks and big thick tiles. This, I believe, is Victorian in period, but it just shows the skill the Victorians had to make it into the Gothic style. Great craftsmen and craftswomen of the day. So we'll make our way round. Again, this will be the chancel, and there you can see the tower. If you look at the top, you can see the tower stonework. I think it's from 12th century. And again, sections of window, if you can see from there, or glass that have been replaced. Right, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.